Okay, I want to briefly go over what is printable and what is not printable. So let's say that we want to 3D print a model of a dog. So we're going to get onto Thingiverse, we're going to look around, and we're going to find a dog that we might want to print. So let's take a look here at this dog. He's kind of cute. So let's say we wanted to print this dog. So let's download that dog, bring it here into our Repetier. He fits nicely into our build area, and let's go ahead and slice him. First of all, here's a warning that there is a hole. It is not a good model, and that's the first problem. Meaning that there's somewhere in here that doesn't have the right structure in the 3D modeling. So these are actually showing up really well here. You can see these areas where it's flattened off and doesn't look right. So those were the results of those holes in the 3D model. Okay, so the next thing we're going to notice here is that our little puppy dog is only touching the ground in one spot right here. Okay, so let's look through the layers and see what's going on. So the first layer, all that's printing is this little area right there. It's moving up, moving up, moving up. And then over here it's going to try and start printing. Now those areas are going to be trying to put down molten plastic into midair. That's just going to fall down and droop. It's not going to stick to the bed. It's just going to get drug around. So there's no way that that model is going to successfully print. Especially as we get up here higher, we move into where the legs start to blend with the body. Again, it's going to be printing over here into midair. There won't be anything to support that material. You can get away with some bridging, but not to that extent. We do have one other option. When we go to Slicer, we can generate support material underneath so that anywhere that is overhanging, instead of printing into air, it's going to print a matrix, a loose weave underneath it that will put support up underneath the body and anywhere that's not touching or supported. Now, of course, this model still has holes, and I will do another video discussing how to repair models that have problems. So let's go through and look and see what this has done. So here you can see that it has generated all this extra material through here to hold up and support those areas that would normally be printing into air. So we can look through. Here's the first layer. So it's printing basically a grid. This is where that 1 foot was touching. As it moves up, it continues to print this grid underneath him, so that then when the feet do start to print and anything else that's overhanging starts to print, it'll print on top of this grid, which then after the print is done, you have to go through and break off. So let me show you a picture here of a 3D print using a support structure. So here's a support structure that it was printed along with this dog and is holding him up. So you can see that you have to go in with a razor blade and clean all this up. This dog right here, again, is another model where this tongue would be hanging off into space, the chin would be hanging off into space and would not print well. Some models come with you can get some models that have an existing support structure to them. So these supports would print again, but you could come in and break them off, and they break off fairly easily if they're designed well. So this is a printable model. So let's take a look at just another model that we know could print really well. I'll clear this guy. I'm going to add an STL file. This one. Whoa, he's a little big. I'll scale him down. 0.4. Center, still a little big. 0.3. Alright, so you can see this dog, he's pretty solid. He's fairly monolithic looking. And there's no point in this model that is overhanging or overlapping where it would want to print out into air. Everything is connected and touching. Even if you'll notice this slope coming up to the snout right there is a gradual enough slope that it can print that without printing out into air or having to overhang too far. So you just load up real quickly this G code. Take a look at how this one builds up. So again, this slices up well. Let's look through the layers, and you can see how he builds up just right on top of itself all the way up. So that would be a very printable, good object. Other things to look for when you're looking at models is, will scaling it down to a scale that fits onto our bed make it too small to be usable? So for example, iPhone cases are a little bit too big to be printed on our 3D printer here without doing it in multiple pieces. And obviously that's something that if you were to scale it down won't fit what you're doing to do. So keep that in mind also when you're looking for suitable printing models. Okay, thank you very much.